This is the Heroes Podcast. I'm so happy to be back again. And I've got Dr. Terri Levine. How are you?
I'm great and happy to be with you.
So happy to have you. And before we go into it, I just wanted to show and tell what you are doing so people exactly know what to expect. So Terri is known as the business mentoring expert with a heart. She is one of the world's top business and marketing strategists. Terri is known for consulting with business owners to help them move from ineffective traditional sales, marketing, and operational methods into effective, authentic, and transparent people-centered communication models. I love this. And she's been doing this for 30 years as working with 6,000 business owners. Well, how exciting is this? Do you want to tell us how maybe your business journey started, maybe the beginnings of hard struggles, if you had any?
Sure. So I came out of college. I was a speech language pathologist, came out with my master's degree, and decided to open my own clinic. They taught me nothing in college about business, sales, or marketing. They taught me how to diagnose and treat speech and language disorders. So my husband and I moved from the East Coast to the Midwest. We knew nobody. I had to have doctors make referrals, and I had a clinic, I had staff, I had equipment, and we did not have money. We both came from very, very poor families. And so I took out a small business loan and I was getting nowhere. The doctors were not referring. I had no patients, and literally we didn't know what we were going to do financially. And so I went to a doctor's office. I got there in the morning and I stayed until they were closing. And he came out and said, "Young lady, I don't know what you want. Get in here." And I went running in. And I talked really fast. I still remember, I'm like, "Dr. Lomax, I just want to help your patients. I'm a really good speech pathologist, blah, 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 blah." So he said he would refer, and he did. He referred 3 patients. He was thrilled with the results. He became my first referral partner. And then I simply went to other doctors and said, "Well, Dr. Lomax is referring and he's really happy." And all of a sudden I grew this business in 1982 to $1 million. Which in 1982, that was a lot of money. It's not a lot of money today. And then from that, I truly learned how to establish a successful business. So this is my 8th multi-million-dollar business in completely different industries.
That's impressive. I'm wondering though, what has been, let's say, the 3 biggest traps that you have had as a learning experience, let's say that, because we all have those, but I can see that you must have resolved them fairly fast if you've grown, 8 million dollar businesses. So what are the typical ones? Help us.
So the first one is listening to what people who are not successful told me to do. And a lot of people would tell me what to do, and I just assumed that they were successful and I followed what they said. It was a lot of wasted time, money, and energy. That was number 1. Number 2, initially, I didn't invest in any help from a mentor, coach, or consultant. And then a few months into it, I'm like, I'm going out of business. And I took out a second loan to pay for Zig Ziglar to mentor me. Okay. And I know my husband was like, "Oh God, this better work." And that was a game changer. And then the third thing is to stay focused and not to have shiny object syndrome. This is what I'm doing. This is how I'm doing it. I don't have to look at what everybody else is doing. Those things literally allowed me in this business 30 something years ago to have 30 clients in 30 days. And I've never, ever, ever looked back. It's just very easy to have a conveyor belt of prospects every day.
Well, your start is very, very powerful because I believe referrals, I would say, still the most powerful way to build businesses. And you must have learned a lot about starting off a business in a new environment where no one has known you. Well, how would you teach this someone? I know we have little time, but what are the keys to get a referral-based business off the ground, and we're not even talking social media at this time, because my mentor says, she's from Australia, old school. He said, social media is nice, but when one has a referral-based business, it's bulletproof. Help us. What does it take to build a referral-based business?
That's a really good question. And I'm going to say it's pretty simple. I wear a bracelet every day. It says serve and create. And at the end of the day, I turn it over and it has a check mark. My work is done after I serve and create every day. So to have a referral based business, you show up every day and you serve and create and help your clients. I don't even have to ask them for referrals. I get testimonials, video, written, whatever, regularly. In my Slack channel, every day they post their wins. So I saw one today. Someone got 4 new clients who's pretty new in my program. Someone else sold their first $10,000 program, never even had a $10,000 month before. And so just giving your clients results, I don't have to say a word. They automatically want to share their success with other people. And so about 80% of the folks that join my programs have come from another client in some way, shape, or form.
Amazing. And what is this program that you have just mentioned? Because obviously if someone is out to get help, then my audience probably wants someone who has made it, who's still getting results, and there is some consistency about teaching it as such. What is the program?
So I have 2 programs. One is 6 figures in 6 months. It's an accelerator program. It includes literally my entire life's work. You get all my templates, my calendars, my journals, my prompts, my emails, my joint venture letters. All you have to do is take my name out of everything and my branding, and you stick yours in there. You get my PowerPoints, you get it all. And people going through that program, it's a very inexpensive program. They can go through it as quickly or slowly as they want. They get lifetime access to it. Just to give you an example, Jackie went through it. She did 68,000 in less than 9 weeks, and then 100,000 about a month after that. That's just one example. So that's a good program for someone who really can just go through the program on their own. They do get my support in a Facebook group, and I am in there helping them. And then the second one you have to be invited into, and that's called Promising Profits. And that is my 1-year group consulting program. And I have guarantees for everything. In the 6-figure accelerator, it's do the work, very simple work, and make 6 figures in 6 months, or I give you your money back. In Promising Profits, it's increase your business by 200% doing what you need to do, which is very simple, or you get your money back plus $5,000 for me wasting your time. So that program you have to be invited into, because I have to make sure that you're really qualified to scale your business and that you have you be fit in with the rest of the community. So those are the 2 offerings that I help with.
That really blows my mind, because I thought I had a pretty strong offer. I thought, well, giving guarantees is a highly regarded, beautiful thing. But I've just heard from you, you pay back at that $5,000 if you don't deliver results. Well, I never thought of that. And who would be a good fit? So these are businesses that are just taking off. These are businesses that are in a specific niche, location. How does a business owner listening to us would know that, oh, I need to get in touch with Terri or Terri's team, because this is what I need right now?
So if they're newer in the industry, whether they're a coach, a consultant, a healer, a chiropractor, anyone who creates transformation through a service, they are perfect for 6-figure accelerator, either to make their first 6 figures or to make their next 6 figures, cutting the amount of time that they're working and making a bigger impact on their audience. In the Promising Profits program, it's coaches, consultants, natural health and wellness professionals, and content creators, could be authors, podcasters, speakers. And in that program, you have to have what I call an established business. Now, that doesn't mean you're making 100 grand. It means you have some clients, you know what you're offering, you have a brand, that is exactly where it can help you skyrocket and literally take off and change your business dramatically.
I'm thinking though, you know, for a long time you've been doing this, and what would be the biggest learnings that you gathered, maybe two or three, that has made probably all the difference, not just you, but to the clients that you worked with?
So the first thing that I would say is the only marketing that my clients do or that I do or that I teach is what I call proven marketing. It has worked for decades and decades and decades. It's not the latest, greatest thing to try and fool an algorithm or any of this. It's not DMing people. It's doing business heart to heart by establishing relationships where you show up and create and serve. That's number one. Number two is not having a supportive community. Being an entrepreneur is a very lonely place to be. And so having a support community, whether it's a circle of other clients going through a program or a mastermind group. And then the third thing, to me, it's critical that you have a coach, consultant, mentor, someone. I have 8 of them. I have one in my personal life. I have one for my health. I have one for my nutrition. I have one for laughter. I have one for speaking. I have one for relation. I mean, I could go on and on. Why? Why do I invest in 8 people every single year for about 27 years? Because just one idea that came from one of them last year added $1 million to my business. So I'm not in this alone. I have a support network, and I think a lot of people are missing that. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, and this is, I believe, where most of the businesses are bleeding out, because and also I wanted to check this with you, because what I see on the market, there is, and I was a lone wolf, so absolutely I had to struggle through, but doing it on your own, or doing the work on one's own and figuring it out, is losing so much time, investing so much money for absolutely not into the right things. Focus and effort is wasting so much. At times they are out of business. Would you agree?
100%. And this is the part that really tugs at my heartstrings. I have seen people go out of business in this industry who are really good. Like, they can transform lives. They are really, really good at it. They have no idea how to find clients, how to keep clients, and they are really not getting the clients the biggest result they can get them. They're getting some result. If they give more, the clients will gain more. And a lot of times people hold back. I give away my best stuff. It's free. It's all over the internet. Whether it's my podcast, my Facebook group, doesn't matter. Just give it away, give it away, give it away. And the right people raise their hand and show up who want to go further. And the people who are like, well, that was nice, and they don't want to go further, that's cool too. I'm helping them.
Oh, this is so insightful, because unfortunately what I see happening, and you might know, I'm coming from the mindset part. You probably have the strategies, and and no matter how wonderful things we are giving away, as far as here is what you need to do, these are the steps, people fail to execute. People just find ways to sabotage the best possible strategies that worked for everyone. So in essence, they have to come and be guided through the same thing that was given to them. Would you agree?
100%, 100%. I have a quick story. I have 2 clients that started on the exact same day, and they happen to be friends. They know each other. One client follows to the T. If I say, go do this, like, I see her doing it, and she's crushing it. I think that she's run 3 challenges. She made about $160,000 from 3 challenges. Each one was 3 days, right? So she made 160 grand working about 9 days. The other client follows nothing I teach, and I mean nothing. She somehow has her own way, and it's going to be better than my way, right? And so she's not having any results, and she's really frustrated. And like, other people are following my system and getting results. You made a big investment, follow and get the results. And if you're not following, I can't guarantee anything, right? So sometimes people have their own unconscious, you know very well, blocks. They don't even know they're blocking themselves. They don't know why they're not taking action. So this is why I also, people want to come in and they want to start, Terri, give me business advice. I'm like, no. We're going to start with the internal work about you and what you believe. And they're like, no, I just want this. No, we've got to do the inner work first.
Wow, that's a big one, because I believe it is impossible to coach or guide someone who is not ready to learn. Do you having these sort of hard conversations with people who obviously paid the price, hoping they will get there, but then they either not participating, not following your lead, or they going against it? Do you have those regular hard conversations?
I would say one person in about every year and a half who looks perfect. We interview them, we accept them, they come on board, and then it's like they're not doing anything. And so, yeah, I do have the conversation. I have removed some people from the program. I've said, look, I'm going to give you your money back and I'm going to ask you to go because you're not implementing. And so I don't want to keep your money. Go follow somebody else where you actually will implement. And I've done that, I think, with 3 people over the last 30 years, where I just was like, no, that's not going to happen. One of them actually came back a year later and she said, I'm ready to implement now. And she did. And I mean, she really, really did. So you have to be an implementer. You have to be an action taker. There were too many people when I started in this industry who told me, oh, just grab a crystal and think positively and your phone will ring. And I said, really? No one has my phone number. I'm curious how my phone will ring. It's not promoted anywhere. At the time, no one had it. So they're like, oh, no, that's how the law of attraction works. No, the law of attraction has the word action in it. And I know a lot of the people from the secret world, they all take a lot of marketing action. They don't just sit around on mountaintops. So, we have to do some belief busting around that. While, yes, there is so much good in the law of attraction, I think it's also confused people where they think, oh, I don't have to do anything. I'll share something real quick. At my last event that I did about a month ago, I asked people if the law of attraction works. And I don't know, 30, 40 people, everybody raised their hand. I said, great. How many of you would like to have $1 million that you can donate to a charity or foundation? And they all raised their hands. I said, great. How many of you are powerful creators? Everyone. Great. Imagine 30 powerful creators. Let's close our eyes and let's ask for $1 million to come in. Let's do it. Right. So everybody does it. We open our eyes. I go, where's the $1 million? If the law of attraction worked with that much energy and intensity, wouldn't we have it? And so it's my cute little way of kind of getting people's attention and saying, without the action part, nothing will happen.
Wow, that's a good one. And let me ask you that controversial question, because I normally work with minds, especially unconscious or subconscious minds. And what would you say? I know it's not an easy one to tell. What percentage of success? I in my beliefs, it's 2 things: mindset and strategy. That pretty much gets, and let's say, coachability, that someone who is ready to implement and listens and follows. That's all it takes, not much. What would you say as far as percentage to success? What is your formula?
So the first thing I say is the successful people that I know, and I know some very, very successful people, they're very open and curious. They're not righteous where they think they have the answers to everything. And I'm going to give you an example. Damon John, he's obviously super successful. About a year ago, I posted a comment under what he posted on Instagram. I actually disagreed with it. And I said, what about this? And I just simply asked the question. I didn't expect a response. I got a response. And the response that he said is, I'm always, and he didn't use the word open and curious or something like that. I'm always ready to learn and to listen. You might be onto something. Okay. That's the kind of person who gets ahead and is successful because they don't know it all. Like, people ask me all the time, how do you have 8 coaches and consultants? Especially like, why do you need a business consultant? You're successful. I'm like, oh, the business consultant I have, his name I'm not allowed to mention. He has a private island. It's made all the difference to my business. $100,000 4 hours, and it is a big game changer in my business. So being open, being curious, and not being righteous, thinking, I know that, I know it all, I've already done that. Just saying, well, what if I didn't? What if I didn't know? And then going from there.
And what would you say if you say, because this is what I teach, and I could be absolutely wrong, teach me. I would say it's really readiness, and mindset, I believe, is that readiness to learn and implement. I would say it's 70% beliefs and mindset and really aligned mind, and 20-30% strategies. Not that strategies could be less important, because with the right mindset, doing the wrong thing will absolutely lead to failure. But teach me, what would be the ideal?
So I always tell my clients, so I'm also a clinical psychologist and a positive psychologist. And I always tell my clients, if you're not happy with your life, your work, your health, your relationships, it's here. It's here. It's not that you don't know the strategies. You might need a tune-up on them. It's something that you're unconsciously or consciously thinking. And I'll share an example. My dad told me when I grew up, work really, really hard. Put your head down, work, work, work. And someday, yeah, wait till you hear this, someday you'll get to retire and then you can enjoy your life. So that's what I was doing. I was CEO of a national healthcare company, and I was working so hard, I got deathly ill. I gained tons of weight. My hair was falling out of my head from stress. I was miserable, beyond miserable. And I realized that I had to stop myself, and I had to ask myself, is what my dad said to me a belief that I choose to carry the rest of my life? And I decided that that didn't serve me. And I quit my job, started in this industry, and I only work about 20 hours a month, and I make a huge impact on my clients while living my life. So the lesson for me is, once I got this right, everything else went right. You've got to make sure that you have the right mindset, because I can give you the best strategies. And if you're going, oh, it's not going to work, I've tried that, oh, I'll just go ahead and do it. You're right, it's not going to work.
And how long did this take you, this kind of struggle to, and I'm really curious to find out turning point, because you said you hit a literal brick wall when you found out you've been on the wrong track.
Yep.
You had to shift your life. It was health that crushed you at that point, and then it has been other factors that really started to highlight that you've been misled by dad's beliefs.
Yeah. So it was health, my own health, really suffering mentally, physically, emotionally. And then it was something else. My mom died, and she was my best friend on the planet. She died in 1996. And a week later, my girlfriend died at age 40 of breast cancer. So I buried them both within a week, and was sitting at both of their funerals asking myself, really, is this what my life is about? Going to work every day, being miserable, unhealthy, and unhappy, or should I live my life? And then I'll tell you how the change came. I have one of my personal coaches, and she knew my mom had recently passed. She knew I had a painting of my mom in my office. We were on the phone. She said, are you by the painting of your mom? And I said, yes. She said, spin your chair around and look directly at your mom. So I did. She said, now ask your mom this question. It's a powerful coaching question. I still get goosebumps. Mom, do you want me to be miserable in a job that I'm making a lot of money at, or do you want me to be happy? I couldn't even get the question out because I just started bawling, and that was my answer. And I resigned the next day. So that one powerful coaching question was the impetus for me to do something other than complain about how miserable I was.
Wow. I mean, I could go and share a story which I want, lack of time, but I had a similar one coaching question that has turned my life upside. And this brand, the Dr. Self-Worth brand, came from it when I could not resolve something with my son. It wasn't about my son. one question that caught me. I didn't even want to be there. Would you agree? Coaches are the most important people on this planet.
I think coaching is so important. I think coaching should start in school. I think we should be coaching our kids all along. I think we would have less hatred, bigotry. We would have less bullying. We'd have less family problems. I mean, to me, coaching is such an incredible solution. And I'm glad more people have embraced it. I mean, when I first started 30 years ago, if I said I was a coach, I would always get what sport or what team. Nobody really knew. Unfortunately, and I do say this, just everyone nowadays just calls themselves a coach, and many of them don't have any skills. Like I'll say, well, how do you make a powerful request or ask a powerful question? You're like, what? Like, okay, do you have any training in coaching? No, I started it during COVID because I wasn't working. Okay. I wouldn't go into an industry without making sure that I could actually serve clients. Let's go back to the guarantee. I have never, in all the businesses I've owned, created a product or a service that I didn't guarantee. And I don't buy anything that isn't guaranteed. If you can't stand behind what you offer something else. And I really feel very firm about this. Now, my clients have things they have to follow. It's not just going to happen by osmosis. They have to show up on the calls. They have to submit the home, we call it home play. Very simple stuff. I just make it very clear. It's not going to happen if you're not participating.
Yeah, that is a powerful insight, because I still believe a lot of people have no idea what it takes to become a coach, which I believe is a very high level of certainty that I can help. But obviously, I have done the work as the coach, so I'm not ending up being triggered and not being present anymore for someone else who I'm here for at that very moment. So are you sort of treating both when you're dealing with your probably a group and individuals? You do the mindset part and the strategy as well?
So I don't work with anybody individually. I haven't for about 28 years. We do all of this. Like, for example, we had our Zoom instead of Monday because the holiday, we had it on Tuesday. So I have my client Zoom, and they start off by telling me something they're grateful for. And then they're allowed to ask their number one question. And then some people have questions, some don't. And then I go into full consulting mode. As part of that consulting mode, some of it might be mindset stuff. So on the call, I'm just thinking about Tuesday's call. I had one gentleman, he's very successful, that just needs to solidify a couple of actions because he's not really asking for the sale. It's like, you got to ask. You're really not asking. That's why people are leaving. So I was working with him. The next person after him, also a gentleman, he has had a lot of, I'm going to call them issues, just things that have happened in his life in the last month, a lot of chaos. And his whole attitude, like even his face, was just in this negative kind of space. And so I spent probably 15 minutes helping him transition and really change his mindset and shift his mindset. So I do a blend of both. And I tell people, I can't work with just your business because you're your business. So I have to work with you and your business.
Yes, there is no separation. I would go as far as, there is a separation. I would go as far as, and give me your view. I would say there is the business owner or entrepreneur, and there is the business, and the business is the most wonderful asset to teach you about yourself, to really tackle the next version of you, to inspire you. But most business owners are not able to see and learn from their own business.
That's a great point. I every Friday I meet with my team and we talk about what is working, like what's going right, what are we doing well as the company, as a team, and that's how we start. And then we look at what is our ideal vision. So what can we do bigger, better, help more people, make our clients happier. And then we ask this NLP question of what is not quite right yet. And that is where my whole team just starts brainstorming and sharing possibilities and potential. And then we end each meeting with, okay, what are the actions we're going to take? What tools or resources do we need? And we have an action plan. The other thing that I listen for in those group meetings is everybody singing off the same page? Does everybody have the right attitude and the right agenda? I really have never liked letting people go. Like even when I ran a healthcare company, I had 2,800 employees and we had to lay people off. It's just so not something that I like. However, I did have to let someone go in my company because I had the wrong person on the bus. And it was really hurting the rest of the team. So as the CEO of your business, I don't care if you have a virtual assistant or some part-time people, it doesn't really matter. You still have to be the orchestrator. And part of that orchestration is, how are people thinking? Are people really aligned? Like if you're not aligned with doing business heart to heart and you want to DM people and send out spammy emails or whatever, obviously you wouldn't fit on the team.
Amazing. And I hope you're listening to us, because you probably will need to let people go with your best intention to deliver, because your team might have a rotten apple, and a rotten apple will need to be separated, chucked out, maybe sent on a sideways journey to someone else's business.
It's true. Go to your main competitor. No, I'm kidding. But the truth is, though, we do have to look. Is it the right person? Sometimes it's the right person in the wrong position. I had a social media manager, lovely, love her. She's amazing. She's a content creator. She's not really good at engagement. So we moved her to creating some back-end content when she's amazing at it, workbooks and all kinds of things. And we put somebody else in the other seat on the bus. We didn't get rid of her because she's a true team player. She just wasn't in the right skill set. There's other coaches and consultants on my team, and I'm constantly assessing, is this the right person? We work with larger companies too, like 7-Eleven and Merck and things like that. Is this the right person? Do they have the corporate background? So I'm always just matching that up and truly sitting in the CEO chair to operate my business, not necessarily to work in my business. I mostly work on my business.
That's beautiful how it's said. And where do we find you? So could you just tell us your contacts, where to find your website if someone really after more details and more information?
There's information on my main website, which is heartrepreneur.com, for the six-figure accelerator. That website is six figs, F as in Frank, IGS, in six, sixmonths.com. And then the most active place that I have a Facebook group called Heartrepreneurs with Terri Levine. There's about 8,000 entrepreneurs in there. I do weekly trainings. There's templates, there's checklists, there's all kinds of free resources. And we also connect so people can do business together. So I'd be very honored to make connections with anyone.
I joined today, guys, because I wanted to know what Terri is doing. And there's so many things that you do is warming my heart, because I realized, and I think NLP is the fastest way to human transformations, which I'm using. But tell me, what is your next level? Like, what would you be celebrating in 5 years' time if things went really well for you?
Oh, I love that question. I would actually say working even less time than I currently am, because I have a foundation for kids. I want to devote more time there. I want to devote more time to my family and friends. And I want to devote more time to spiritual practice that I love and being in the gym. These are things that I just happen to love. So I am looking at how can I actually show up less and still get my clients the same results. I don't know the answer to that yet. However, my team will get it figured out within the next year or so.
Ooh, I love that. So you have some plans to put a powerful team in place. And now I really need to ask you, how are you helping children? And what is the spiritual practice, if it's okay to share?
Sure. So I have a neurological disease called reflex sympathetic dystrophy. And if you haven't heard of it, on the McGill pain scale that measures how high and painful diseases are, RSD is at the top. The next disease under that, way under that, is brain cancer. And the one under that is amputation. So this is called the disease of fire, burning, or hell. And when I fundraise, I will explain how it feels. It feels like someone took all the blood out of your veins, filled you up with lighter fluid, and then lit you on fire, and you burn. So I have this, and when I first got it, I was in a huge pity party. I was in a wheelchair and in bed on 29 medications and ketamine infusions, and I really couldn't even think. I couldn't function at all. And then one day, I realized kids have this, and no one's helping them. I have the money to get all this treatment. These kids don't have it. So my husband and I started a foundation, and I fly all over the world, helping kids that have this disease, educating doctors, running support groups, helping families, and we also give them money for treatment. So that is really, really near and dear to my heart. Was there a second part of that question? I don't remember.
Oh, I was just
spiritual.
yeah.
So I'm not a fan of organized religion. I'm a huge fan of spirituality, of embracing the connection between human beings and our DNA, and being more alike than we are different, and not really embracing religious ideals that have been the cause of every war that has ever happened. So I'm very spiritual, and I like sharing spiritual messages, reading spiritual books, running spiritual book clubs. I speak for a lot of different organizations, I don't even choose to be a paid speaker there. Business stuff, I get paid. Spirituality, I don't get paid. It's just a hobby and something I absolutely love.
Well, that's wonderful. And as we are unfortunately running out of time, let me ask you this. What have I not asked here that you might have wanted to share with my audience?
So there's two expressions I say to my clients a lot. My first expression is find a way or make a way. So that means don't be an excuse zone. Oh, I really want to have my website done professionally. I can't afford it. Find a way. There's always a way. I have a client to afford working with me. She went online and she literally was selling everything out of her house. She had her kids like stuffies. She sold a bunch of them. She had books, then she had purses, then she had shoes. She had all this stuff. And my other clients were laughing, going, what is she doing? I'm like, she made over $22,000 and got rid of junk out of her house and then could invest in what she really wanted. So find a way or make a way, be a no excuse zone. And the second thing is say yes. When opportunities and someone shows up in front of me, like you, right? You showed up in front of me. It's like, yes, let's do this. I am a yes person. I take steps to move forward. I don't create excuses as to why not move forward.
That's very powerful. Terri, I loved our time together, and I hope to see more of you, and I'll follow what you do. Thanks very much, and I will hope to see you very soon. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. You're awesome. I appreciate you.